in high definition. This is Lightning News. Hello everyone and welcome to the first edition of Lightning News. Our top stories: Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes. We talk about the latest news, analyze the response, and go through its tumultuous development history. And Instagram impersonation. Many people are getting their accounts hacked and the hackers try to impersonate them. We show you ways how to avoid these scams, and we confront one of these scammers right here on Lightning News. But first, here's the world summarized in this week's Lightning News Summary.
In July, intense summer heat around the world caused widespread damage to infrastructure, wildfires, and a few casualties. Meanwhile, frequent thunderstorms in some regions of the US have caused flooding. Canadian telecom giant Rogers Communications had a 19-hour service outage, which is reported to have affected 10 to 11 million Canadians. It's reported that 911 services, hospital communications, and banking services were also affected. After 25 years of service, AirNet Explorer reached its end of life on June 15, 2022. Computers running Windows 8.1 have until January 10, 2023 to upgrade their machines until support ends for Windows 8.1. Jeopardy will begin taping their shows in front of a live audience, starting with Season 39. This will be the first season taped in front of a live audience during the COVID-19 pandemic. This also will be the first season with a live audience without Alex Trebek in 25 years. The last time was in April 1997. Instagram has put their TikTok-inspired redesign on hold after they got backlash from its users and celebrities. If implemented, the UI would put higher emphasis on short-form video content. Users criticized it for making it harder to view photos of who they follow, like friends and family. Its owner, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, has said they would take the time to get the changes right. Lightning News will issue a follow-up on any or all of those news stories if new developments arise. Otherwise, check back in 1 to 2 weeks' time for another news summary.
This is a Lightning News special report. We've just gotten some brand new news about Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes. Level 5 CEO Akihiro Hino posted about it to his development blog, stating the following. This is Hino. Today we'll report on the progress of the latest Inazuma 11 work. I was afraid I couldn't give you any information, but I'm sure it's moving forward, so I'll show you some of our progress. Lightning News understands that there will be a new name for the game, Inazuma 11 Road to Victory. There will be two modes, story mode to follow the story of Sasanami Unmei, and a chronicle mode where you can collect all the characters from the entire history of Inazuma. This new name change coincided with a new logo and cover art striking a cloud motif, which is supposed to represent how clouds create lightning. Gameplay has also slightly been altered. Using the Nintendo Switch's touchscreen, the player can now drag lines and place players throughout the field, just like in the mainline Inazuma 11 games on the DS. You are also now able to play using a controller, similar to how players are controlled in the Strikers games. Level 5 is reportedly making adjustments to the game to avoid unfairness during matches. Lightning News also understands that the setting is different this go around as well. Instead of Ryman Junior High for the first time, this will be now a school in Nagasaki, Kyushu. Hino later said that there might be new information by the end of the year, so we should stay tuned. Still, this comes after nearly 4 years of what gamers call development hell, industry jargon for a project or concept that remains in development for an especially long time. Initially announced as Inazuma 11 Aries, Level 5 intended for it to coincide with the anime release, which has been the case for many previous entries into the franchise. The game was going to be released on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android, making it the first mainline entry to not be exclusive to only Nintendo consoles. Supposed to release alongside the FIFA 2018 World Cup, preparations for the game took longer than expected, causing development to start later than planned. Games prior to this point were developed exclusively by Level 5 with the exception of Inazuma 11 SD. However, due to the time constraints, they enlisted the help of a third party. After things fell through with that third party developer, it was back to square one. Not to mention the staff were becoming less motivated and criticism on the internet was spreading, which according to Hina made the situation quite difficult. In an April 2020 blog post, Hino admitted that he believed that there was, quote, no choice but to discontinue development. Still, Level 5 still had supporters for the project, thus giving Hino the motivation to keep on with development. They started development on a new game concept, which would utilize the Yokai Watch game engine and would feature a brand new storyline. Level 5 also took these new creative liberties to create a game that isn't tied to the anime release, as has been the case up to this point. On the new concept, Hino said that it will take more time, but we will aim for a culmination of Inazuma 11's works with a high degree of freedom. From there, it will be a new guideline that incorporates the context so far and new ideas. In September 2020, Hino announced that Level 5 would be putting Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes on the back burner to focus on Yokai Watch Yokai Academy Y. This was due to business reasons. Hino later updated on the plans on April 2021, making a video presentation showing off the game and explaining some of the latest changes. This coincided alongside a blog post which updated fans on some of the problems that they were facing. Hino said, quote, I would like to report that Inazuma 11 is progressing towards completion. We're at the stage of solving the piled up problems one by one, like how to manage 2 data volumes and how to realize a match system without a stylus. All of us staff are looking forward to the day when the new Inazuma 11 will be completed with the online feature, so please be patient. I'm really sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time, and it will take a little bit more time, but we will make it worth it. In 2022, rumors surrounding the game's development arose. These rumors detailed that the new title would be a gacha game similar to Inazuma 11 SD. These gained traction from a Twitter thread that made relatively unfounded claims about the future of the game. But what is a gacha game? Well, in lamest terms, it's a game that encourages players to spend in-game currency to get a random prize. In these games, in-game currency can be obtained through various means like gameplay or through microtransactions, a business model where gamers can use real-world currency to receive virtual goods. Inazuma 11 has played off of this concept in the past in the form of its gacha machines and Kizuna coins. However, this mechanic was largely a smaller portion of the game rather than a core mechanic, as is commonly the case with other games in that genre. So far, the only evidence that loosely supports their claim is a lone screenshot from an unidentified source, that of which puts Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes in the collection and football RPG genre. However, Inazuma 11, like Pokemon and other team-building RPGs, have always been about collecting characters. Therefore, it's more likely that the collection descriptor is derived from that aspect rather than a gacha game concept. Today, the only complete Inazuma 11 gacha game is the now discontinued Inazuma 11 SD. This game relied on the collection of characters through events like weekly randomized selections and through purchases made using the in-game currency Inazuma coin. Now, the announcements aforementioned earlier in this report reaffirm the fact that this claim was in fact false, though it's important to keep an open mind as information is likely to change. Lightning News will continue to update you when new information arises, but for now, reporting from New York, I'm Edvardy J with Lightning News. While it seems that the Inazuma 11 modding community has never been more busy, some of you might be familiar with the interview I did with Tail the Toaster last year, where we got a behind-the-scenes look at Inazuma 11 Go Galaxy's fan patch and the ins and outs of its development. Since then, many more fan patches have been made for Inazuma titles. Most of these have been contributed by the English-speaking community, but as detailed by British YouTuber TXM-Tom Spores, there is a flourishing international community who's producing patches for their own little corner of the world. Of these patches is the Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes mod. By Redux Mods, the game brings various characters, abilities, and movesets from previous Inazuma 11 titles into one game. Released in May 2022, the game has received widespread coverage by the international Inazuma 11 community. Patch 1.1 released on August 7th and adds new competition routes, new characters, custom movesets, and a lot more. Downloads were made available to their Discord server. Similarly, another patch of note is the Inazuma 11 Ghost Strikers 2013 patch, which has a similar premise to the Inazuma 11 Great Road of Heroes mod. So far, we understand that the mod is slated for release in August, will be free to download and play, and will have its own online servers and ranking system. Lightning News will follow up on this when more information arises. Are you or anyone you know making an Inazuma 11 patch? Send it to us at lightning@caremedia.net. And finally, Instagram seems to be having a major issue that is affecting thousands to possibly even millions of users. It all has to do with scammers, hackers, and impersonators. Lightning News' very own Edvardi J reports. Losing one's account can be someone's worst nightmare, especially if they're a content creator or public figure, but it also carries an element of risk. For example, if you have explicit messages or photos in your chat logs, the impersonator can use this information to extort you into paying a large sum of money. Recent developments in 2FA technology have helped mitigate this risk. However, 2FA isn't completely foolproof. For example, a scammer may try to use social engineering to get permission to use your phone number or email to make up a story like how they forgot their password and want to use your phone number for verification. They'll then ask for a verification code, since many social media websites would require the scammer to use a 2FA code to log in. Once given the code, though, the scammer now has access to your accounts and can use it to fuel their latest scheme. Of course, there are many other tactics that the scammers may use to get access to accounts, including the use of suspicious links. But this seems to be the most common according to the data we got from people we interviewed. These scammers then impersonate the person who they hacked, or impersonate someone else. In both cases, the scammers usually target the people the victim followed, and vice versa. The scammers then use social engineering on these people to try to extract money somehow. In certain cases, the scammers can turn your account into an e-thought page where they attempt to get people to pay money to see, quote, exclusive photos. They'll remove all of the photos or videos that the victim had stored on their account and replace it with more sexually explicit content. In other cases, the scammer will post a Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo screenshot of the alleged money they made via crypto. They'll then forward this post to all of the people that followed the victim, as well as posting it to the victim's story. In the description of this post, the scammer will thank some random Instagram crypto guru and recommend their services. If you manage to DM this supposed guru, they'll excitedly talk about the wonders of crypto and the amount of money people were able to make using it. However, this is a scam, and it's likely that the person who scammed the victim and the supposed guru are connected. So, how do we go about avoiding this? Well, firstly, never give out your main phone number to people on the internet, even if it's someone you trust. If you can, use a service like Google Voice and give them that number. That number should not be tied to any social media accounts and should be used explicitly as a burner number. If possible, only give sensitive information like your address or phone number to people during a meetup in real life. Trust your gut. If something feels suspicious, it probably is. Take a step back and assess the facts. Why would this person need my phone number to get into their account? If you need to think hard about it, then it's likely a scam and you should proceed with caution. Additionally, avoid SMS-based 2FA. Instead, use a 2FA app like 2Fast Authenticator or Google Authenticator. This app will randomly generate codes at specific intervals. For most apps, these codes are device-specific, so the scammer would never have the same authentication code as you unless they had direct access to your device. If a scammer asks you for one of these codes, it should be a clear indicator that they're just trying to scam you out of your account. Plus, SMS isn't the most secure messaging protocol anyway, so you'd be better off ditching it. Have you or anyone you know been affected by this digital phenomenon? Share your experiences with us at our email address, lightning@curemedia.net, or on our social media outlets. If you're in the US, you can also call or text us at 914-488-4595. 914-488-4595. Online this week is our bi-weekly newsletter, Lightning News Weekly, where we brief you on the latest headlines that made their way throughout the trends. That's bi-weekly on Fridays. If you're interested in what we do, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lightning News TV. You can also follow me personally at EdvardiJ on both Instagram and Twitter. But that's it from me now. From myself and the entire Lightning News team, stay safe, get some rest, and we'll see you all very soon. Until next.